I grew up in San Diego, and specifically in La Jolla, and it had this very kind of sun-soaked, plasticky, somewhat artificial feel to it. And that's why I think I'm really attracted to these plasticky things. Plastic balloons or sparkles and like shiny, shimmering things. I love that stuff. My name is Stieber and I'm an oil painter. I like to paint huge, really brightly colored paintings. I had a professor that once used the term wishful seeing. That's how I would describe how I choose my colors. So if I were to look at my hand, this would be bright red, and this would be super light, bright magenta pink. So understanding sort of the workings of color and really seeing what different hues of light does is something that I carry with me. So I call my painting style electric realism. It's realistic, but the colors aren't realistic. The subject matter isn't necessarily realistic. It's sort of like an amplification of real life. My art studio is nestled in the back of a wonderful co-working space for the creatives called Third Space. In the space here, I have a few different series of work. My doll series is my newest, and that's kind of about all these plasticky, artificial, fashion pattern, explosion, animal print stuff that I'm into. It's really just like the fun series of what visually gets me going. And then my Possibility Water series is a bit more personal to me, and it's more about this idea of mindfulness, and the figures or characters in my paintings are experiencing this moment of like being somewhere else. First, I come up with the idea. It's always a aha moment, like this is gonna be my next painting and I know exactly what it's gonna look like. And I'll typically sketch it out in my sketchbook, and then I'll arrange for a photo shoot to get the reference material for the piece, and I do all my own styling and photography for the photo shoots. I'm constantly buying it off the internet to outfit my models, and I'll use those as reference for the painting. First 2 hours, ideally, like the whole canvas is covered in paint, and I just kind of build up the layers from there. The process of creating the work, coming up with the concept, setting up and arranging the photo shoot has been totally invaluable in creating my work. I think intuition is so important with making artwork. I was always very interested in these, the dichotomy of real versus fake, or synthetic versus natural. Technically, I love the idea that you can have natural, realistic, recognizable human form and scenes, but the color's completely out there. And then conceptually, the idea that in a socially constructed space, your perception of a scene is completely different. When people look at my paintings, they're always like, oh, they're so happy. Like, these are the most joyful images, Aren't you ever upset? Like, why aren't you a starving, miserable artist, But to me, my work is often responding to really, deep, personal human experience. Yeah, there's this one painting called Rainbow Falls. That's a painting. It's a depiction of a friend of mine whose father had recently passed away. And I was like, girl, I'm gonna paint you dressed up like a rainbow doing a backbend over a waterfall, and you're rad, and this is gonna be how I see you and how you're gonna get through this. These characters though, it's like I'm portraying the other end of it, them kind of pushing up and pushing through these things. And I think that my use of color is very emotive and exaggerates, the experience that they're going through in a way. I guess if I could say anything to the world, I would say, go get it, live while you live, and life's amazing.